Hello, everyone. The paper that we will be discussing today is titled Recent Advancement in Understanding of Alzheimer's Disease, Risk Factors, Subtypes, and Drug Targets, and Potential Therapeutics. It's a paper co-authored by Sneh Prabha, Motahad, Gulam Mustafa Hassan, Asimul Islam, Imtiaz Hassan, Sonu Chantakur, and it is a paper that was done in India, so it kind of just concerned or centered around the Indian population. So this paper wanted to discuss the specific subtypes and risk factors as well as drug targets and therapeutics for Alzheimer's disease. We can begin by talking about what Alzheimer's disease is first and foremost. So Alzheimer's disease is a type of neurodegenerative disorder. It tends to affect about 80% of the cases tend to be sporadic, and it affects people who are 60 plus, 60 and over. Or there could be some very a small amount are family cases, about 2 to 4% tend to be familial, so they have a genetic predisposition to it. And what the main hallmarks of this disease are essentially amyloid proteins and neurofibrillary tangles that tend to be found in the brains of the people were who died from it, unfortunately. So let's begin by what amyloid beta and neurofibrillary tangles are. Amyloid beta is a type of protein that is found in excess in Alzheimer's disease patients. And what essentially happens is it starts aggregating in the brains of these people. And when it starts aggregating, it disrupts a lot of systems that are occurring inside the person's brain. And because of this, it can lead to dysbiosis and dysregulation of many systems and essentially to the downstream effects that occur. Mainly, it affects a system called, or a enzyme called glycogen synthase kinase 3 beta. This is a regulator of a protein where amyloid beta essentially originates from. So what it essentially does is it disrupts the amyloid precursor protein. That's where amyloid originates from. And what it does is it makes it cut amyloid at an extended base, and because of that, it makes amyloid more sticky than it usually is. And when it's sticky, it causes aggregation. Aggregation causes disruption, and the disruption essentially leads to what comes later as neurofibrillary tangles. So neurofibrillary tangles, they are affected by an aberrant glycogen synthase kinase, which is itself influenced by the increase of the amyloid aggregates in the brain. The amyloid aggregates kind of attach themselves to another enzyme that would usually inhibit this other enzyme, this enzyme glycogen synthase kinase. And when it's not inhibited, it's going to go on and it's going to start phosphorylating another microtubule associated protein called known as tau. And tau essentially it starts to become sticky as well, and it is essentially affected at these 199, 231, and 396, 413 positions. And what once this amino acids positions are affected, it starts to become sticky as well, and it's now within the neuron. So now you have dysregulation outside the neuron and dysregulation inside the neuron, and now eventually that's a system that's going to fail eventually, and then the neuron dies. Now imagine this happens, but it happens all across the brain. So you have poor judgment. You're gonna have you're not gonna be able to kind of deal with the day-to-day tasks. You're not gonna be able to have cognitive thinking. Deep thinking is going to be affected, and the person itself is going to need a lot of help because of this. So the subtypes that the authors would talk about, they included the limbic predominant, hippocampal sparing, minimally altering, and then the typical that we know of. And they essentially were trying to state that it is important to have targets that kind of drug targets that would essentially go after many aspects of these subtypes or many aspects of the AD, meaning you want to have something that's going to attack the glycogen synthase kinase 3 beta system. You are going to have something that's going to control the free radicals that are always going to be formed, essentially because of all the neuroinflammation that's going to ensue due to all the neurofibrillary tangles and the accumulation of the amyloid. And then you're gonna need something known as a acetylcholine esterase inhibitor. So what acetylcholine esterase inhibitor would do is it will block the breakdown of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is an important neurotransmitter for attention, and that can kind of stop the progression of the disease.